Today, as modern science wrestles with the challenge of the climate and biodiversity crisis, experts are discovering that Indigenous knowledge is a treasure trove of potential solutions and adaptations.
Getting Indigenous people's voices heard is very important. And we have had our elders, our knowledge keepers, say this for years and years and years.
Instead of addressing Indigenous peoples as vulnerable groups and populations, recognize that we can contribute a lot to the solutions. So, Indigenous peoples as agents of change.
You see, modern doesn't necessarily mean better. Yes, in the last few decades, we've developed technology our ancestors could have never dreamed of. But can it be compared to knowledge that's been tried and tested for hundreds of decades? Isn't that the ultimate scientific method? Today, modern science literally fires satellites hundreds of miles away from the Earth to monitor the Earth. Indigenous communities, they just reach down and touch it, feel it, observe it. They've always known that the best way to understand nature is from within it.
I guess we think a little bit differently about land, and the value of it is much more than money. We don't think that it belongs to us. We think we belong to it.
So what happens when the insights from Indigenous communities and the capability of modern science join forces? Let's begin our journey by looking at medicine. Indigenous communities have built robust medical systems that are characterized by a deep understanding of the properties of nature.
We're part of nature. We don't own nature. You can't own Mother Earth. You can't own these things.
Indigenous medicine isn't just about the substance itself. It's about context. Who gathers the plants, when and how. It's relational and holistic, combining cultural rituals with ecology and plant chemistry to build detailed and intricate reservoirs of medicinal knowledge. Communities such as the Natu Vadai in India are creating dedicated conservation parks containing traditional medicines for the local villagers. If you need any more convincing that protecting nature might just help protect us, let this sink in. 25% of Western medicines are derived from the Amazon, and 70% of anti-cancer plants only exist in the Amazon. These forests don't just hold medicinal plants, they hold the future of entire landscapes. But that future depends on one thing: the right seeds in the right hands.
So we often think of overexploitation in relation to things like the oceans and fisheries, but it also happens with plants across the world.
When it comes to restoring damaged ecosystems, collecting the right seeds is one of the most important and sometimes overlooked steps. Indigenous seed gatherers collect across diverse ecosystems to maintain genetic diversity, while simultaneously tracking plant life cycles and monitoring forest health. In Brazil's Xingu region, the Xingu Seed Network is recognizing the potential of seeds in biodiversity monitoring. Here, its major female indigenous members gather and disperse seeds from over 220 native species, mapping growth and restoring potential across thousands of hectares. Researchers and restoration ecologists use its database to understand species viability, seed dispersal, and recovery timelines, turning traditional seed knowledge into scientific insight.
There's all kinds of properties that these plants possess, and that's why it's important that we conserve them so that we have that potential for the future.
But gathering seeds is only the beginning. What happens when you plant those seeds, not in neat agricultural rows, but in a system that mimics the complexity of the forest itself? Agroforestry, the art and science of growing crops within forest systems, isn't new. It's a practice as old as farming itself, where trees, spices, and other plants grow side by side in layered harmony. In southern India, the Sustainable Spices Initiative is helping to bring back this ancient practice to scale, reviving a method where agriculture works with nature, not against it.
Andhra Pradesh is actually one of the leading states in India in terms of adoption of regenerative agriculture.
These aren't conventional farms, but forest-like landscapes where spices thrive within biodiversity-rich ecosystems. In this regenerative model, smallholder farmers grow spice crops like black pepper, turmeric and ginger within natural ecosystems, not in place of them.
The participating farmers, they follow no chemical usage policy and they integrate the flora and fauna that is available within their local communities as a part of farming systems.
This symbiotic system boosts biodiversity, enriches soil, and creates climate resilience.
It provides a uniqueness in the type of spices that are produced in this region.
By layering crops within forest ecosystems, farmers produce premium, high-value spices while maintaining ecological health.
On one hand, we are able to improve the productivity, on the other hand, we are able to improve the quality, thereby better returns to the farmers.
And we envisage to cover nearly 50 to 60,000 smallholder farmers in next 3 to 4 years.
Scaling an approach that puts nature and livelihoods at the center.
Forest and tribals are inseparable. That is the beauty of these tribal farms.
It's easy to think of forests as wild, chaotic, untamed. But these so-called wild landscapes have been carefully managed for generations, not just through planting, but through something more surprising: fire. As our climate changes, the frequency and intensity of wildfire is on the rise.
In the forests of Los Angeles, the wildfires continue to spread.
Forest fires now result in nearly 6 million more hectares of tree cover loss per year than they did in 2001. But not all fire is bad. Cultural burns involve intentionally lighting small fires to clear undergrowth and debris, mimicking natural fire cycles. As well as decreasing wildlife risk, they can improve soil health and promote plant regeneration.
Indigenous people have been managing this land for tens of thousands of years. And in California, fire was the main tool they used to manage the land. And when Euro-Americans arrived, they saw fire as a threat. And for the next 50 years or so, we stopped all fires. And the forest grew denser, and the dead and down accumulated and got thicker. And there was increasingly more fuel on the ground.
In Yosemite National Park, the Southern Sierra Miwok and Tuolumne Band of Miwok have partnered with park fire managers since 2005 to bring back burning traditions.
Repeat burnings actually at low intensity can increase the biodiversity, increase the meadow extent, increase wetlands, increase the amount of downstream water availability.
During the 2013 Rim Fire, lower fuel from these burns slowed the blaze, protecting park structures and allowing forests to regenerate. If fire can be a tool, then what else are we misunderstanding? The next clue comes not from the forest, but from the plains, where a long-lost animal is being brought back to life, along with the ecosystem it shapes. Animals aren't just food sources, they can also be ecosystem architects. Unlike industrial grazing, indigenous livestock management mimics natural cycles, allowing grassland time to rest and respecting migration patterns. Herds of animals don't exhaust the land, they revive it.
Our culture, to a large extent, is based on and related to that buffalo. When there was no buffalo to be seen, our elders' dream was, we need to bring those buffalo back.
Through the Blackfoot Confederacy's Linai initiative, buffalo have been introduced to tribal lands in Alberta. Animals that were nearly wiped out by colonial hunting and land use.
So in February 2017, the buffalo were brought back to Banff National Park. The buffalo is the best environmentalist you can have, okay? Because it is an eco-engineer and it's helping us bring the land back to where it should be.
Their grazing promotes native grass growth, their hooves aerate the soil, and their movement helps control invasive species. Studies show the reintroduction of similar American bison species led to a 103% increase in plant species richness, compared to cattle grazing's 50% boost, whilst also making vegetation more resilient during drought cycles over 29 years. Buffalo revived the plains. But what about the places where livestock can't roam? On fragile slopes and shifting climates, some communities have adapted not by dominating the land, but by reshaping it. Climate adaptation is no longer optional, it's essential. And some of the most effective solutions can be found in landscapes and communities that have been adapting to microclimates and crop cycles for centuries.
Indigenous peoples are peoples that live very close to nature. And a lot of our rituals, a lot of the phases of community life rely on cues from the climate, from the environment.
These systems rely on strategic rotation and microclimate creation, alternating crops and fallows, using pits or terraces to trap moisture, build soil, and buffer against both drought and heavy rain. They're place-specific, low-tech, and often built incrementally over generations. Today, by embracing and respecting the information that Indigenous communities can provide, Western technology and research can merge with this knowledge to build better systems and tools for all, providing long-term solutions to the global challenges we face today.
What I would say to Western conservation leaders is come back to the larger community, all my relations, and discover the intricate web of relations that exists there. When you exclude yourself as separate from that community and you're out there simply trying to control, hey, sometimes nature and the larger community doesn't always cooperate with you. But if you become part of it, hey, we'll all survive together.
We began this journey looking for innovative ideas. What we found were entire worldviews where humans are part of nature, not in control of it. And maybe that's the biggest innovation of all.